I'm going to share how I managed to drop about 30 pounds over the course of 6 months. Hello, and thank you so much for joining my channel. My name is Boho Bonnie, and I talk about all things plants, politics, design, career, lifestyle, a little bit of everything. So thank you for coming along on this crazy ride with me. I've got a really special video for you today. I'm going to share how I managed to drop about 30 pounds over the course of 6 months, doing it very slowly, very not restrictive. Because restrictive diets have never worked for me, and I've honestly seen them work for very few people. You have to give yourself some freedom, especially if you are struggling with food and your love of food like I do. You also have to address that mind-body connection. This is not just a body issue. Your mind is tied in there too. And so I've done a lot of work over the last 6 months, and I've invested very, very little money in this journey. So this is not something where I'm going to be saying, go buy this and this and this and this and this, and it's going to be $1,000 in your shopping cart. We're not doing that. I'm going to show you how I can do this for under $100 to get started. Okay, I'm going to put all the links down in the description of things that I have used, and this works. This is not hogwash. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm going to show you what I've used, but I'm not trying to sell you anything. And I guarantee that this can work for you. So it's really simple advice. A lot of it's probably advice you've heard before, but there are a couple unique things that I have done that I haven't seen elsewhere. And that's where I think this video is really going to come into benefit for you. And so let's go ahead and get started. So I have gone through this kind of, we'll call it a diet. I call it my anti-inflammation diet, but I basically created this diet all on my own. And that's one tip I want to give you. Don't just take a diet at face value and do exactly as it says. In order for it to work the best for you, you have to custom tailor things to a route in your life that you know it's going to work. And what I mean by that is if you have a problem with eating carbs every single night, you crave carbs, that's my problem. If you tell yourself, okay, well, I'm going to do this diet that doesn't allow carbs at all, I'm going keto, is that really going to work? I mean, yeah, you might stick on it for a while. You might have some great weight loss success. But if you don't address the reason why you're binge eating carbs at 9 p.m., then the problem is likely to come back, right? So throughout this process and whatever you do, you have to address your mind, your feelings, your emotions around the food that you're eating and the behaviors that are contributing to weight. So I have gone through this anti-inflammation diet a couple times in my life, and both times I have managed to shed between 25 and 30-ish pounds. That's about where I plateau based on kind of my weight. So right now I'm kind of teetering back and forth with the same 10 pounds, and that happens. Once you get to that plateau, it definitely gets more difficult. You have to put in more effort to get over that plateau. I basically started this journey for health reasons. I finally kind of picked up the connection that the food I was eating was causing inflammation throughout my body. When I look through pictures of me from 10 years ago, I see major inflammation in my body. And you can tell from these pictures that I am inflamed. I mean, it is so obvious, but at the time I'm just thinking I'm fat. But it is truly inflammation. And when you start putting the right foods in your body, you'd be really surprised at how quickly that can shed off, and with minimal exercise, y'all. So we're going to talk about 3 areas that I focused on for my anti-inflammation diet to really get the weight off, get it off fast, and get it off permanently. That's the key, right? And so the first thing we address, of course, is diet. A few key things in diet, and you can look up anti-inflammation diet books that really go through all the correct foods to eat, the anti-inflammatory foods, and the foods that you should stay away from. Now, one key to this is water. You cannot lose weight on any diet if you're not drinking adequate water. It's key to shedding water weight. If you are retaining a lot of water, you're doing that for a reason. You're doing that because your body doesn't have enough water. It's holding on to everything it has for dear life. And so you actually need to drink more water in order to shed that water weight. And so find a water plan that works for you. I really love these water bottles from Amazon that keep track of your water drinkage throughout the day, and they make it so easy. So really recommend picking one of those up. Now, some people just cannot stand the taste of plain water. I get it. What I found that really works for me is something called the Starburst pink stuff. It is a like sugar-free packet that I put in my water, and I don't know, I just love the flavor. It works for me. I know it would be healthier without it. I get it. But like I said, you have to do what works. Find out what works. It may not be the best option as far as health, but I guarantee you, me putting that sugar-free drink mix in is better than me not drinking any water or me drinking Dr. Pepper all day. The second thing, the major thing that I do, and I start my diet out when I started, was I stopped eating beef, pork, and chicken. Now, this is kind of my own made up part of the diet, so you're not going to find this advice elsewhere, and it really works for me. So I've done this a few times. I don't usually do it permanently, but this is how I start, and it really helps bring the inflammation down and bring my weight down. So I stop eating beef, pork, and chicken. Now, why those particular meats? Because it keeps me away from fast food and drive-thrus. There are very few options on the menu that aren't beef, pork, or chicken. So it really does work. Now, if I'm really craving meat, I can still have a bison burger, or I could have turkey sandwich. I mean, there's still options for me to have meat. And so that has really helped me. And then gradually, I typically go full on pescatarian. So gradually, I'll kind of take away those other meats. But I like to ease into things when I'm starting the diet from scratch, which, like I said, I've done this a few times. It always works, but I have to kind of ease into it every time. And so I'll gradually stop a couple of those other meats. And then eventually I usually land on pescatarian, which means I only eat fish and eggs. So I do not believe in strict diets. I believe that every now and then you should be allowed to cheat on your diet, because if you don't, and you're so stringent about everything and you just tear yourself down when you make a mistake, then the chances of you getting back on that diet the next day go down significantly. And so allow yourself a cheat day every now and then. You really have to. You're not in ketosis on this where it's going to throw you out of ketosis or anything like that. That's why I don't like those diets, because you make one mistake and it's like, oh crap, well, what's the point anymore? And that's what we're trying to avoid at all costs. So our next topic is exercise. I know this is everyone's favorite topic, right? So I'm not a fan of going to the gym. I don't know, just people watching me exercise feels a little cringe, but if you're a fan of the gym, then go there, especially if you're paying for it every month, do that. But if you haven't been exercising for a while, you're not a fan, you really just hate it, I have found the answer for you, okay? I have 2 pieces of equipment. I'm linking it down in the comments. These are less than $100 combined, and they will take the weight off, and they're easy to do, okay? So the first one is a mini stair stepper. I don't know if y'all have seen these yet, but it's basically just a little foot thing. I'll put a picture on there. You can adjust the tension on it, and so you just throw this thing in front of the TV. So I'm now up to 1,000 steps a night. I do that maybe 4 nights a week-ish. And y'all, my legs are so toned. This thing works. It's gonna get your legs and your booty. And what I want you to do is really shake your hips when you get on that thing. Like, put your arms on your side, shake your hips, and really get into it. Like, try to engage your core stomach muscles as you're doing those steps. And then you're working out multiple muscle groups at once. In addition to that, now these have armbands that you can use. So you really don't have to get the second thing that I'm gonna mention, but I just like having them separate. You could also use dumbbells. But what I'm referring to is resistance bands. And so all you do is kind of do these different exercises. I'll show you a few that I like in particular because I'm trying to work out my arms and my neck and shoulder muscles because that's where I have a lot of tension and a lot of medical issues. But I basically take these resistance bands, I wish I would have thought to bring them in here, and you hold them, and you're gonna go like this. Like you're driving a car, that's one of them. You can also go like this, going in and out like that, over your head with the resistance band and down, okay? And there's a few others. And honestly, I just make stuff up half the time, but of course you can go to other YouTube videos and they'll show you lots of resistance band exercises. Once you have figured out your balance on the stair stepper well enough, you can do those at the same time. And so literally watch your TV shows, Handmaid's Tale, P-Valley, whatever you're into, just dropping a couple of my favorites there, and get your steps done, get your resistance band, your little arms worked out, and it's fun, it's easy, and those things are so affordable. So don't throw your money away on a gym membership just yet if you haven't already. Now, lastly is addressing the mind. Like I said before, this is not just a body issue. You have to take care of feeding this thing up here too, right? As women especially, we have this self-hate talk track going on consistently in our heads, and addressing the mind-body connection and feeding that mind is all about overcoming those negative thoughts, shutting them down for good. So how do we feed the mind? First off, do things that make you feel beautiful, whatever that is. That could be doing a boudoir shoot. If you are a fan of that, I personally have fallen in love with it. I did one before I had lost my weight and just did another one after losing my weight, and it's so great. I'm going to be doing a video actually soon on my boudoir experience, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when that comes out, because I'm going to show you everything that was going through my mind, like what I was scared about, what that experience was like, and just how overjoyous I was to see myself in that sexy, beautiful way, right? The second thing is a wardrobe change. So we want to feel as beautiful as we look, right? And so if you're used to wearing baggy, kind of frumpy, older clothes just to hide yourself, you're not hiding anymore, okay? We're not hiding anymore. And so show that shit off, especially after you've put in all this work. I want you to feel as beautiful as you're going to look. The next thing is a skincare regimen. So I honestly did not have much of a skincare routine before I turned 40, but now that we are over that hill, it has become important. And I have found the products that I love for my face through an IPSY subscription. And this applies to my makeup as well. So if you've ever heard of IPSY or considered joining it, COVID was just such the perfect time for me to do that. I started my IPSY membership at the very beginning of COVID, and it helped. It helped to receive that bag once a month with little makeup products. And that's how I got kind of into this whole, makeup obsession that I've been in lately. Because I find the products that I love through that IPSY subscription, and then I can go and, buy the full thing. And so I have a full skincare regimen that I use now, so I recommend finding some products that work and really investing in your skin. That referral link for IPSY is down in the description, and so give it a try. You can cancel it at any time, but it is really self-care in a little bag that arrives to you every month, and it's just probably the easiest self-care option there is. All right, and the last thing is a spray tan or going tanning. I can't tell you how much more beautiful I feel when my skin is tan. It hides imperfections, it hides my cellulite, my scars, acne, all of the above. And especially if you're a natural blonde, which I am under the swig, it just goes hard. So that's another option to just make yourself feel as beautiful as you're going to look. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you got some creative ideas. These have all worked for me, and so they are tried and tested, and I'm not just spitting out BS at you. If you ended up trying any of these and they worked for you, I would love to hear about it in the comments. Or if you have another tip to throw in for us, throw it in the comments for us. Thank you so much again. Please subscribe. Please give this video a thumbs up, and we will talk again soon. Bye-bye.